الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه وأعد لهم جنات تجري تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا ذلك الفوز العظيم. الله العظيم. Dr. Kanari gave us some references from the Quran in order for us to remember our beloved leader, Dr. Ahmed Elkadi. And when I was searching the Quran for some appropriate ayah, there are so many of them, but this was Surah Al-Tawbah. Talks about the Sabiqun al-Awwalun, the vanguard are the highest of the high amongst the Islamic leaders and the generations, those who were with Rasulullah. And then the Quran says, وَالَّذِي نَتَّبَعُوهُ, those who followed them. And I see in the example of our beloved leader, Rahimahullah, Dr. Ahmed Elkadi, to be amongst them, and inshallah he's the one upon whom this ayah comes to be true. We have heard many aspects of the beautiful life that he lived, and I have seen him as my personal friend, the leader, and my murabbi, my teacher. I met him first time in 73. I have been working with the Islamic Circle of North America, our Islamic organization, and we had a Tarbiyah program in Connecticut, where he, with Dr. Jamal Badawi and others, were our teachers. The first time I listened to him, and I was so impressed with his knowledge, with his wisdom, and the beautiful nasiha which he gave, that from then onward I became his loyal student and always looked forward to the meetings and the gatherings and Tarbiyah program that I could learn from him. And then I was so fortunate that, alhamdulillah, I settled in this area, and our beloved Dr. Ahmed Elkadi also decided to come to Pensacola and then to Panama City. So I was very fortunate to be very close to him. But I'd like to share with you the other aspect of his life, which is the Islamic movement leadership and the work which he has done. There are so many other areas which we have heard about: personal life, family life, community life. But I believe, in my view, the greatest legacy which he has left behind, not only in the United States, but all over the Muslim world, is as a worker and a leader of the Islamic Jama'at work, the Islamic movement work. I was just looking up the internet last night to get some more information about it, and I was very happily surprised. Last night to get some more information about it, and I was very happily surprised that there is so tremendous information about Dr. Ahmed Elkadi on the internet, from the friends and the foes. There is a book written by someone, well, it is available and you can download it, the Muslim Brotherhood in America, and Dr. Ahmed Elkadi, I think there is a chapter about him over there. So I was reading about him from this information, and I wanted to see how he was introduced to the work of the Islamic movement. And in his own words, I could read, he said that other than Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, in the contemporary people who have greatly influenced me, there were three people. First, he said, my father, rahimahullah. The second, Imam Hassan al-Banna, Shaheed rahmatullah. And the third was Sayyid Qutb, rahimahullah. But he said, the Sayyid Qutb Rahmatullah alayhi and his writings influenced him tremendously. The first two books which he read, which influenced his thoughts and his whole life, the Dirasat al-Islamiyya and Al-Adalat al-Ijtima'iyya fi Islam, both written by Sayyid Qutb Rahmatullah alayhi. These books set up a mission and a goal in his life, and that is to dedicate the life and cause of Islam. No matter what your profession is, no matter where you live, as a Muslim, your first and foremost objective in life must be to learn Islam, to propagate Islam, and to establish Islam as a way of life in your personal life, in your family life, in the society you live in. This was the mission and purpose of Prophet ﷺ and Al-Anbiya alayhi salam. And then he continued to study Sayyid Qutb Rahmatullah's book, including Fi Zilal al-Quran, the tafsir, and from there onwards he didn't look back. He never looked back. He adopted this purpose of his life. And people ask how this man was the way he was. What brought this kind of a character and conduct and high moral values that he had. And this is behind that. This is the whole ideology which brings a tremendous change in thinking in the way you live this life. So, in Egypt or in Austria, when he was a student, or when he came to the United States in 1965, his whole life was committed and dedicated for Islam and for the work of the Islamic movement. He had a vision, like any Muslim who is committed for the cause of Islam, to establish organized Islamic work, not just in the communities, but at the national level, and in all strata of the Muslim society. So therefore, he joined and worked very hard with the organized Islamic work at the national level, with the Jama'at, and we were working with the Islamic Circle in North America. We worked very closely with him in all these years, from 70s, 80s, and 90s. He was in a leadership position in the Islamic movement, first as a treasurer and as Amir, from mid-80s to mid-90s. He was the leader of the movement. And in that capacity, he worked very hard to establish and strengthen the work of the Muslim Student Association, which was established in 1963, and then later on it was transformed into Islamic Society of North America. I worked with him, attended many of the meetings where ISNA was established, and he traveled extensively through the United States and the world. And I want to share with you a short story about that his guidance was not just in America, all over the world. One of my nephews was telling me last week I met him, Umar Isahar, he's a medical student now, and he told me a story and I was so inspired. He said he visited South Africa, a small village, as a project from the school or college. And people asked him, where are you from? He said, I'm in the United States. Which city? Oh, you don't know, this is such a small town, nobody knows it. He said, no, but tell us. He said, Panama City. He said, oh yeah, we know Ahmed Elkadi's. Ahmed Elkadi's town. He said, how do you know Ahmed Elkadi? He said, he was here. And he told us how to establish masjid and community and school and Islamic work. So the people all across the globe, he has been traveling. And many of you who know him, they know how much he was on the road or on the plane, so to speak.